Dude, let's go. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Untamed Outdoorsmen YouTube channel, and today we're going to be saying our kind of final goodbyes slash overview of this kayak that I've had for the past 3 years, something like that. So as you've seen on the channel since we've basically started, I've had the Native Titan 12. This has been honestly a magnificent kayak, other than some of the issues I had at the start. I really love this boat. From the moment I got it, I love this boat. I did so much research on this boat before we had bought it. And, you know, with everything, like, it's like buying a car. Some cars are good, some cars have their issues. This one just had issues. I didn't really do enough research to figure out those issues as in-depth as I would have liked to before I bought this boat. But, you know, it comes with the territory. You live and you learn. But we fixed all the issues on this boat now. So it should be in 100% working order. And I've just been, you know, kind of busy with life and a little discouraged from this from the last couple times I had it out. So that's why I haven't been fishing. So I wanted to make a little final goodbye for this boat. We're going to do a little overview of everything I put on this boat from the time that I got it to now. Like I said, Native Titan 12. This is the Propel, like every Native you get. When I got this boat, my ambitions were to have a badass fishing kayak, and that's what we had. I mean, this boat was phenomenal. I did all the upgrades I wanted to put on this thing. I had them on it. I had my Lowrance HDS 9 fish finder. I had, you know, the pedals, which made it easy. I did all the Burley Pro upgrades, which was the Burley Pro steering system, the Burley Pro handle, and I did the Boondocks rudder on this thing. And that changed the performance of this boat, like, dramatically. That made this boat track so much better in the water. It made it so much easier to turn. And I wasn't getting that slack that I was having with the stock steering. So I really loved that upgrade. That was one of the best upgrades I think I did to this boat. Other than that, on this, I had, you know, the Native Sidekick landing gear. Me and Connor, you saw that in the very first video that we posted, I think, with this boat, starting to build it. That was the first thing we did. And then over the time of us doing all the builds and, you know, over the years of me having it, we had a lot of new stuff added, a lot of stuff taken away. But that made the boat exactly what it is today. This is as you see it. Honestly, this boat and Connor's Ascend were the two boats that will kind of always be the staple on our channel. Now Connor's moved on to the Titan X 12.5 because he's fancy. And in the future, I'm not quitting kayak fishing, if anybody was wondering. All right, so some of the pros and cons of this boat. Pros, easily, is the foot pedal steering. I mean, like, if you're just starting out in kayak fishing and you're really trying to take it seriously, I recommend, you know, some sort of foot pedal, maybe even like a trolling motor. Trolling motor is like really advanced, I feel. And then you get into like the, you know, the Torqeedos and the Newport motors. That's really like, that's a lot. But the foot pedal, at least, I'd say to start out with, you know, like your mid-level to high-level fishing, which is a huge, huge part of this boat. That's what makes these Natives, in my opinion. And then other pros of this boat, it's massive. I mean, like, I've never ever had a problem with stability in this boat. I memean, it's like every other Native. They're wide, they're nice, and they track through the water. You know, they are a little heavy, which can be a con, you know, as to like getting them to the ramp and stuff like that. I mean, it can sometimes be, you know, a little challenging. As you can see, I just have the stock Sidekick wheels, but like Connor got the upgraded balloon wheels that go on it for the sand, which, you know, could also be a huge help with stuff like this. But other than that, it's not very, very heavy. I mean, I was able to easily put it in and out of my truck, so that was no problem. Cons. I will talk about the cons. So I've had a couple issues with this boat since I bought it. As a lot of you guys seen, we try and be very transparent with our YouTube channel and with, you know, what's going on with our stuff. So like the second or third time I took this boat out, I don't think we filmed that day because I don't think we caught fish, but it was, you know, it was almost hectic. I started taking on water inside of the hull at a very rapid rate on the pond, and, you know, that could have led to me sinking to the bottom with all my $1,000 of fishing gear, you know, me in the boat and the boat itself. So that was not very good. So we figured out there was a big problem with the native rudder gaskets, so we fixed that. It still had the stock rudder on it at the time, and they got those foam gaskets that go around the rudder, and the gasket that it had from factory failed. And so we did the upgrade, and I put the 2 gaskets like it said on most of the native forums. I talked to natives themselves. They said that's, usually the fix for it. So we put that on. Still had some leaking issues, and then we installed the Seaflow deck plate in the back because we figured out that when the water was entering the hull, it was still coming from the top of the deck and down through the side plates of that hatch. So we put that in, we siliconed it in nice, and I never had any other issues with it leaking from that side of the boat. A huge issue, I was getting water in the hull and I wasn't sure where. And when the boat would sit on dry land, it'd rain a couple days, I didn't always have it covered because, it's a kayak, they get wet. I'm just not thinking about it. And one of the issues I had was a lot of water would pool up, and instead of being able to expel this way, as you can see, it would come right under the front hatch and up the lip of this, and it would enter inside the hull. Now, to fix that, I added this gasket here, and I added a gasket around the outside of this hatch, so we should have no issues with the water getting in, which eventually, yes, it did fix that. Also, I recommend covering your boat. I mean, that was kind of stupid on my part, but, like I said, you live and you learn. But yeah, the main issues with this boat was the leaking. That's where I had, an issue. Because, you get on the water comes pouring into the boat, and instead of having a fun time fishing, you're stuck dealing with, the water coming in, or you're standing in a puddle that's, 4 inches deep, and that's not enjoyable while you're fishing. And then to fix the other water issue up here, this was never a problem while I was on the water. This was just while it was setting, so it did ruin one of the Yak power modules that I had at the time. And as you can see, I've replaced it since then, so it's got a brand new one in it. But yeah, no, other than that, I think that was the major cons, was the water getting inside of the boat, and it was standing water in this hatch, which would ruin my electronics, which sucks because you pay so much for electronics, and just to throw that money out the window because of that. It's nobody's fault. I mean, it's probably my fault, if I'm being honest. I didn't have it covered, and Native could have done a little bit better job with designing that, but I'm not bashing Native because I love their boats. I love this boat. Now that I figured out everything I had to fix, it's all fixed, so we're not having any of those issues anymore, which I love. But it's just, it's kind of skewed me towards a little bit discouraged and, not wanting to take it on the water as often or at all. I mean, like I said, I've been busy with life, so that's not the only thing. But yeah, just those issues really kind of it discouraged me from fishing. But like I said, I'm getting back into it, and nothing bad about this boat. I love this boat from the second I got it. I watched so many people's YouTube channels before I even got this boat, and I fell in love with it on YouTube watching somebody else's videos, and I was like, okay, I need that boat. So this was it. The main issues are now fixed, so we don't have any problems. It's a good to go boat, and I can't really say anything else much more about this boat. I mean, it's a stout kayak rig. It was a good first actual fishing kayak boat. Now with the motorization capability on all the kayaks, and you got your forward facing sonar on a lot of these kayaks, and you got a power pole or dual motors. Everything has stepped up a couple of notches since this boat came out. This is a 2021 or 2022, I'm not sure. The capabilities of the motor, you got the spot lock, which is huge when you're fishing in a kayak, because it's, if you get a windy day like it is today, you're always battling, pedaling back and forth. Now, that is not a bad thing, because on these boats, I mean, you drift with the wind, but it is easy enough to paddle back to where you were. But with having the spot lock, I mean, you're staying in the heading of that position the whole time. So, I mean, you can't really beat that. So yeah, I just want to get a little bit more into the more advanced type of kayak fishing. I've been at this level with this boat for 3 years now, like I said, 3.5, something like that. And I have enjoyed my time with this boat. I have, there were some times I did hate this boat, but they're fixed now. So with that being said, yes, I am getting rid of this kayak. I want to say thank you to this kayak, because this really made me appreciate, fishing as a whole and kayak fishing as a whole. I mean, this kind of like broadened my horizons. You know, me and Connor started out on some Pelican Catch 120s, just paddling around. And, you know, we've slowly worked our ways up, and, you know, just being able to take that next step further from this boat, which I never would have thought I would be saying, you know, 3 years ago when I bought this thing, that there's another step up from this. But I think there's a substantial step up from this. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little video just telling you like a kind of goodbye or farewell to the Native 12. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and be looking forward to seeing me around on the channel a bit more often now. So yeah, thank you.